there, hi, and welcome to another episode of Sit and Spin with me, your host, Joe Royland. Today on the show, we're going to do a little music movie wrap-up, talk about some recently released on DVD and Blu-ray films that I think you might enjoy, that I really dug. But first, just in case you hadn't heard this news, maybe in the past few weeks you've heard me talking about how things have been really busy, a lot of stuff percolating in Cal State Royland. Well, if you haven't checked out my actual Facebook page, or if you have, then you know that after a long struggle for many, many years, 8 long years of tears and heartache and struggles, and I don't even want to think about how much money, my wife was finally pregnant. We are finally going to have a baby, which is awesome news. This shirt actually plays some relevance in that. 8 long years ago, my wife got this shirt for me, and she gave it to me as a way of telling me the first time that she had ever gotten pregnant. It was her way of telling me that, oh, hey, I'm pregnant, you know, when I got the shirt. I wore it once only. I'd never worn it again until today. And I get to wear the shirt again because she's actually pregnant again, which is awesome. And who knew that 8 years ago, who knew that The Flash was going to have a hit TV show now? So it still works. It's still awesome. But that is the awesome news in my life. I don't know how it's going to affect the show because babies are expensive. And that's going to obviously play into how I'm going to be able to afford all these things I talk about. But we'll see. You know, I mean, it's not like I get paid for this. It would be awesome if I did. Or it'd be great if people sent me free stuff to review like they used to. But regardless, I'm going to still try to do the show for as long as I can and keeping you guys informed of new music and new whatever. But today, let's get back to what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about some great music movies that I've, like I said, recently released and I've caught that were awesome. First up, Get On Up! The James Brown story about the Godfather himself stars Chadwick Boseman as James Brown. Chadwick was in 42 in The Express. Also features Nelson Ellis, who some of you might know as Lafayette from True Blood, as Bobby Bird, James Brown's longtime friend. A lot of other great people in this movie. Jill Scott, Jesus, I'm not going to remember. Craig Robinson plays Maceo Parker. Dan Aykroyd's in this flick too. He plays James Brown's manager. But great musical performances. The story, the biopic it kind of jumps around in time with a storytelling bit, but that's kind of a cool thing. And Mick Jagger himself was actually one of the executive producers of this movie. But if you like James Brown at all, even if you don't, if you want to know more about James Brown, not 100% accurate with the story. You know, it's Hollywood. They play a little fast and loose with some of it, but just a really entertaining, well-told flick. James Brown, the Get On story. Great. Check it out if you've never seen it. Next up on our list is a charming as hell little flick called Begin Again. This movie was written and directed by John Carney, who was formerly the bassist for the Irish band The Frames, who were led by a guy named Glenn Hansard, who was the star of Carney's first picture that he wrote and directed, a little movie called Once, from back in 2008. Maybe you know that movie, you're familiar with it. It's a great flick. Begin Again kind of treads similar ground, but not, you know, it's completely different, but similar to Once. So if you enjoyed Once, you probably really enjoy Begin Again, except instead of taking place in Ireland, it takes place in America. It stars Mark Ruffalo as a down on his luck music executive called Dan Mulligan, do-over, Begin Again, haha, who runs across Keira Knightley's character, Greta, and their meeting kind of leads to a life-changing collaboration for both parties. Knightley herself actually learned to sing and play guitar for this movie, and the music for this movie was written by a guy named Greg Alexander, who some of you people might remember from this little band, the New Radicals. They had a big hit with Get What You Give and Sometimes You Know way back in the late 90s. And the movie also stars that guy from Maroon 5, Adam Levine, who plays Greta's former boyfriend Dave, who's actually kind of found success for himself. And just sort of a love story, but not really. It's more of a love story about music, but great tunes all around. CeeLo Green is also in this, Adam Levine's co-star from The Voice. Plays a character named Troublegum. But excellent, charming flick. I actually watched this like twice. The first week I saw it because I liked it so much, and I think we've watched it 2 more times since then too. But great movie, great soundtrack. Features the song Lost Stars, which is a big ballad by Adam Levine, and was Oscar nominated too as well. But great soundtrack too. Definitely go and pick it up if you like the movie. You want to get the soundtrack. And last but not least, as you can tell from all this jazz drumming that's going on in the background, we have the 3-time Oscar-winning film Whiplash. The movie stars Miles Teller as an ambitious jazz drummer who is working to make it to the top of his elite musical conservatory. And J.K. Simmons, in his Oscar-winning role for Best Supporting Actor, as his taskmaster instructor who uses terrifying methods in teaching his students in hopes of getting the absolute best performances out of them. The story kind of chronicles the different parallels and links that the two will go to achieve what they want to get, and whether or not that works or not, I'm not going to tell you. You got to watch the movie to find out. But features a great drum-centric jazz score, obviously, as you can tell from what we're listening to right now. And one of the bonus features that's cool on this DVD is it features the original short film that the movie was based on. But it's a hard movie to watch, man. It's a great flick, but man, I was full of a lot of angst after this just because of like J.K. Simmons' character in this film and just some of the tension that this movie makes. It's meant to do that. It's what it's supposed to do. But otherwise, a really great movie with an excellent soundtrack. The movie also won Oscars for Best Film Editing and Best Sound Mixing. So that's 3 cool new music movies that have recently been released that you should definitely check out. Definitely Sit and Spin with Joe approved. I loved all of them. We're going to have some other music documentaries hopefully soon that we're going to be talking about on the show. And next week, the return of a band from the Seattle area who it's been a few years since they've had a record out, and their new album is due out next week. Hopefully that's what we're going to be talking about next week. If not, I got you covered for something else. But that is all for the show this week. Hopefully you're watching my good friend Scott over at Righteous Vinyl, as well as the Riff of the Day guys. Hey, maybe you saw me twice on the Riff of the Day last week. I did Riff for Metal March, and we did the Metal March mashup, which I got to be a part of both of those. That was really cool. It's great fun being back on the Riff of the Day, and maybe I'll do some more stuff for them too. But if not, tune in to catch me here on Riff of the Day, and thanks for tuning in. Please feel free to share the show with friends. Do me a favor, if you are watching this, make sure that you click like on the page if you haven't done that in a while, and also click get notifications, because Facebook, in their infinite wisdom, sometimes they do weird things, and my show doesn't get out to as many people as it should be getting. It doesn't quite get like where it should go. So make sure you've done both of those things. I really appreciate it. And that is all we have for you this time on Sit and Spin. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time. See you then.